This is my method of rigging my grapple anchor. This is the cheapest one I could get from Academy. They're like $7. I think they're like a pound, like it says right there, 1.5 pounds or 1 pound or something. They're pretty cheap. Now the way these work is you've got a nose cone here that has a little slot, and that slot works on this piece here, which allows the nose cone to come forward. Then you can open it, and there's another set of pieces right down here at the bottom, and that allows you to lock it open. Just kind of twist, and that way it grabs when it hits the ground, stays open. Now a lot of people I've seen have attached their anchor lines to the front of this. You notice there's a sort of a small hole, and that does work, but if you get it hung up, it's really hard to get it free, and you can lose it. Okay, the first thing you want to do is this little buckle here. You want to take some nylon string of some kind. You want to go through the hole, and then through here, and sort of tie it like you're tying a shoelace. Go through there one time, then whereas your shoelace, you go through one time there, and then go back the other way, make a square knot. And that keeps that little screw from unscrewing, so you don't lose it. And that keeps that screw from backing out and this piece from coming off. Now you need to trim the excess line here. And then another thing I like to do is, I've got a little torch, but you can use a lighter. You want to melt these ends until they shrink back so the knot can't come undone. It doesn't have to be real pretty, but that pretty much keeps that knot from coming loose. And that keeps your turntable or little buckle thing from coming apart. Then you want to take your anchor line and double it up about twice the length of the anchor. Then you want to make like a shoelace knot, like you're tying a shoelace. I think this is called a surgeon's knot. You go through one time, then you go back through again. And now this is going to seem a little weird. You want to take the one end and push it over until it makes kind of a cross pattern. And see if I get it lined up right. It'll make it real pretty. Pull the slack out of it. Now that won't ever come undone. Now after that, you got your loop. You want to put your loop through the buckle, pull it flat all the way through. You're gonna probably need to close those, and run the anchor back through the loop, and then pull it tight. Now you got your anchor line secured to the anchor. Now that's not going to make a lot of sense until I show you this next part. Now to attach it, this part, you want to kind of push that string over to one side on that loop on the back and run it like this. And you take thread or real light fishing test, or pretty much any fishing test, but I tried to keep it under 8 pounds, because you're going to loop it a few times. Every time you loop it, it's going to double from 8 to 16. But I'll use thread to begin with, and if I do break it loose, I'll end up using a fishing line, whatever I'm got with me. I think my one pole has 10-pound test. I think that's the lightest I'm running at the moment. But tie another loop. You pretty much run it, put it through the hole and around the anchor line. Third's a little tricky to get around that knot, but this is the easiest way to do it. Then you run your thread back through the line, the hole, around the line. Then you'll have this other loop here. Put the line back through it so you can tighten it down. And just do that a few times. Depending on what poundage string or test you're using, determines how many times you want to do this. And it's sort of hit or miss error. I'm using this thread. This is a button thread. I happen to have a lot of it, and it's different color than the anchor line, so it's good for exampling. Run that through a few times. Now when you tie it off, instead of pulling it all the way back through, you want to make a loop. Pull the string back through the loop. Make sure you keep the slack out of it. Kind of just tie a knot, run it through a couple times, then pull it. And once all the slack gets out of it, cinch down and then trim the excess. How this works is, this one catches a little bit, but your anchor line little grapple still deploys, and when it catches the bottom it drags like this. And if you get it real stuck, like caught on a root or something, you can back up the other direction and you pull it hard enough and this thread breaks and then the anchor comes up backwards. Then all you have to do is retie some fishing line or thread. If you're using it and do that, you just reuse thread or fishing line. But that's pretty much how it works. Now once you have the anchor set where you want to take a D-link, which either comes on the end of the anchor line or add one to it. You want to put the line through the D-link. Then you want to pull the two lines back through it and twist that onto the D-link and then pull it tight. And that will hold pretty tight. It won't slip. And when you're ready to, then you can clip this onto your anchor trolley, and that way you don't have all the extra line sitting in the water. When you're ready to undo it, you just slip it off the D-link and then it comes up free, no knots. Now for this next trick, you're going to need a bottle and about 2 feet of string. I like taking this, take the string, there's a little lip here. You want to take it, wrap it around that, and then this is kind of a tricky part. There's other ways to tie it, but this is my preferred method. You go around, back over, and back through. And then pull it tight. And once you have it tight, depending on how long you want to tie another loop with a surgeon's knot. So through once, through again, then pull it tight, and then trim the excess. And you don't have to do this, but I like melting the ends of the string just to keep it all bubbly, or get it a little bit bubbly, and then it kind of winds up and it won't come undone. Now, once you have your bottle with your string on it and the loop, you want to take the loop and bend it back towards itself like that. And now you're going to have two loops. And you take your D-link and you slip through the two loops, and it pulls tight like that. Now if you're catch a big fish and it's dragging your line and you don't want to be anchored anymore, you can disconnect the anchor and it'll free float. You don't have to worry about losing it, because sometimes if you're in real deep water, the line will sink and you can't grab it. But this will float everything but the pound of the anchor. So it won't float the actual anchor, but it'll float all your line.